Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah, traders. Just finished up watching Road Tang's Muay Thai fight here. Real hard fight for him. And we're going over the trade. 3 for 3. All take profits taken. Very consistent over the weekend as well. Alhamdulillah, Friday. Coming in on Monday with a bang with one big trade right here for the entire day. Called the entire bias here. So I'm going to be going over the trade. Starting the day right here, you can see this is the candlestick where market had opened here. We had these equal lows, and I waited on the next candlestick for these equal lows to be swept. Now right here, let's go ahead and ignore this right here. I'm going to draw out the 4-hour fair value gap for you guys that we had taken off of. So there is a 4-hour fair value gap from this wick to this wick right here. There we go. And I'm going to go ahead and extend it out. So we had swept this low, and we also had tapped into this 4-hour fair value gap right here. Really nice trade, good confluences for me to have a bullish bias for the day. However, on ES, the bias is the trade confluences and the liquidity levels, they had overlapped. So that's why I went ahead and take basically the trade on ES, just because there were better profit targets on ES, and ES was the right indice to take here in the end. So here's a 4-hour fair value gap after we had swept these equal lows. High confluence, so I was bullish for the day. Now, like I said, I had taken on ES because I had a clear draw on liquidity, a clear price target for all my three basically profit targets, because this was a very big trade, alhamdulillah. Now, on ES, on the 4-hour time frame here, always starting on the large time frames, doing our analysis on NQ and ES here, figuring out which indice to take on and what setups there are on the larger time frame, so we know exactly where the draw on liquidity is. So we had a 4-hour fair value gap right here. We had tapped into that fair value gap and swept the lows. And not only is there a 4-hour fair value gap, there's a new week opening gap that had just formed this week right here. So the new week opening gap had overlapped with the 4-hour fair value gap, and ES had just swept the lows and tapped into the 4-hour fair value gap as well. So I had overlapping confluences and overlapping areas of liquidity for me to go long. So I was bullish on ES, and I understood ES would be the indice to lead here just because of those confluences as well. So as soon as price had basically tapped into that new week opening gap, I was waiting for confirmation for our trade, waiting for the market structure shift, and go ahead and find an entry. So let's go ahead and tap into the 1-minute time frame here, see exactly where we had broken structure, got our market structure shift, and gotten our entry. So this was a little bit of an early entry here. You could have waited for the big 1-minute market structure shift and the inducement right here, and price had respected this order block right there. And price had came down and actually taken out some liquidity, tapped into the order block again that we'd already tapped into, and pushed higher for whatever reason it was. Because we had, let me go ahead and show you guys here. Because we had an unfilled fair value gap on NQ as well, and we had a tiny volume imbalance, but it was mainly the 1-minute fair value gap that NQ had to draw back into to take out these equal highs on ES and push higher. So this was an unfilled fair value gap that price had left behind. NQ had swept the lows, and that's exactly why we had pushed higher. Just one of the SMT things on NQ versus ES here, but regardless, we had a very good entry on ES. Is just NQ that had some unfilled liquidity that we had to take out before we went ahead and pushed higher. That's why we kept risk on for this trade here. Now I'm going to go ahead and show you where our entry was. So we got our 1-minute break of structure. So I'm going to show you guys here. It was a break of structure first, and then we had caused it to be a market structure shift because we had changed character. We went from a bearish bias here, from being bearish, actually switching to bullish, because we had made a higher high instead of a lower high and a lower low. So I'm going to go ahead and throw market structure shift for you guys. We had broken structure, created a higher high, pushed higher. Now, as soon as we got that break of structure, this is where I entered right here, is one of these candlesticks. You guys ready? I entered on this volume imbalance right here. I'm going to go ahead and draw it up for you guys. And that's a volume imbalance that we had right there. So I'd gotten tapped into on this candlestick right here, and I basically gotten filled right here, and price had drew down for a second and then came up into this fair value gap right here where I'd taken my take profit one, just targeting low low hanging fruit is the term for it. So targeting low hanging fruit right here, this fair value gap here, or this order block right up here. So you could target basically this as your take profit one regardless. And price, after coming down and tapping into that 1-minute fair value gap. On NQ, no harm done whatsoever. Really nice. Once price had done that on ES, price had left equal highs on ES every single time, so I had left the position open and waited for take profit 2, which was right here, this lower right here, to be taken out because there's equal highs right here. I want price to draw into these equal highs. Once price drew into those equal highs, I basically taken my second take profit for the day and I'd locked in, you know, guaranteed win for the day no matter what. So right here we were at roughly a 40% trade, and then we had held, and I was at roughly 90% here, alhamdulillah. And then we had the last runner leave for basically over 150%. Everything is on TikTok for you guys, so you guys can see the profit and loss and everything like that. And the last trade basically came up here, and my profit target was the 21 points, waiting for that, but it looks like we weren't going to reach there because we were chopping around. So I had taken profit at 19 points. So since we were chopping around, I wasn't going to wait for, you know, miss out on opportunity on basically, or at least miss this trade opportunity here and take a loss instead, or get stopped out at break even for my last few contracts here. What I was actually going to do is wait until we tap into this order block here, the candlestick that had swept liquidity. So that came out to roughly exactly 19 points, which is really tough. That's good stuff. And then we were only targeting 20 points anyway, so 19 points didn't make any difference whatsoever here. So basically 3 for 3. I'll take profits taken, big W for the day, alhamdulillah. And price had taken out. I was out right here, but you could hold until this area of liquidity is taken out. Why? Because equal highs, we're gonna draw on them eventually. It doesn't matter if it's today, London session, Asia session, whatever it is, they will be hit eventually. You know what I'm saying? So this is A+ trade here. Great Confluence for taking this trade here, as well as NQ. You guys can see NQ really didn't move as much as ES did, so it's really nice to see that. That we had taken the right indices. I had an overall very big W trade, one of the biggest days we've had in the last few weeks, alhamdulillah. So if you guys have any questions on this trade, go ahead and drop it in the comments or DM me privately. And go ahead and send this to somebody who had lost money today, September 11th. Happy Patriot Day, guys. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.